Howdy everybody, Triple M here today. Hope you all are doing well. Today we'll be going over some spoilers from our next upcoming set, Outlaws with Thunder Junction. People are really excited and hyped around this set as it's Wizards' version of the Wild West, and we're seeing a lot of characters making a big comeback and a big splash. So let's ride on into these spoilers, shall we? First up, we got our main baddie of the set. It's Oko the Ringleader. 4 mana Planeswalker, 2 colorless, 1 green, 1 blue that serves at 3 loyalty. Oko is a static ability that comes with him that reads, at the beginning of combat on your turn, Oko becomes a copy of any target creature you control until end of turn, except he has hexproof. It's +1 ability, draw 2 cards. If you've committed a crime, discard a card, otherwise draw 2 cards. Discard 2 cards, sorry. Committing a crime is something we'll get to in one moment. This is great for players who just want to have a bunch of cards in their graveyard and just discard outlet, or if you just want to cycle through your deck pretty quickly. -1 ability is create a 3/3 elk creature token. So the original Oko actually created 3/3 elk on any permanent before that your opponents found really scary. So a lot of players are pretty relieved to see this, right? It's great to create a blocker to protect your Oko, to keep him ticking up, and he's not such a magnet removal anymore. Your -5 ability, for each other non-land permanent you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. This ability is perfect for this Planeswalker, as Simic is the color combination that works so well in creating multiple tokens very quickly. Hopefully by the time you get them up to this point, you've had a full scary board of permanents that you're able to cheat out multiple copies of. So back to the mechanic of committing a crime. So with this new set, committing a crime is when you cast a spell, activate an ability, or a triggered ability that targets an opponent, any permanent they own, or any spell or card in their graveyard. So basically it means if you interact or touch your opponent anyway, you committed a crime. Pretty fun mechanic that in the Wild West, crime was such a big thing and such a pretty hot stuff, right? So good to see that they're incorporating that kind of fun stuff. Next up, we have someone we thought was recently gone, but has since returned since her join up with the Phyrexians. It's Vraska the Silencer. 3 mana legendary creature Gorgon Assassin, 1 colorless, 1 black, and 1 green, 3/3 Death Touch that reads, whenever a non-token creature in opponent control dies, you may pay 1 colorless. If you do, return that card to the battlefield under your control tap. It becomes a treasure with tap this, sacrifice to add 1 mana of any color, and it loses all of your card types. Basically, you're getting a treasure anytime your opponent's creature dies, if you pay 1. It is great for players who love to recur other people's graveyards and want them to not have anything in their bin, right? It's very good against other black decks, and pretty good to help ramp your own board and advance your game plan. This is perfect for what Golgari loves to do. Remove and sack creatures and outvalue your opponents, right? And having a nice Death Toucher will prevent people from swinging out to you or make them want to attack you. Next up is probably the face of Magic the Gathering itself. Is Jace Reawaken. 2 mana Planeswalker, 2 blue pips that starts 3 loyalty. First off, insane rate for any Planeswalker to be cast at. You can easily cast this at any time, but Jace has one downside, and that his static ability says that you cannot cast a spell during your first, second, or third turn of the game. So they get you there. Jace will only be able to cast at turn 4 on your turn. Pretty powerful Planeswalker if you're able to ramp out on turn 1. However, there's some cool little neat tricks and that you can get around to, and we'll get to in a second. Jace's +1 ability is to draw a card and then discard a card. This is the most classic, probably uptick Jace ability there is, as there is 4 other Jace Planeswalkers that do this, and it's what he does best. His other +1 ability is when you may exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted. Now, plot is another new mechanic from this set that reads, you may pay mana of this spell and exile from your hand. Cast it as a sorcery on later turns without paying its mana cost. Plot only as a sorcery. This is a great way to let you have spells that you like for later on turns ready to go, and leaves it so that you don't have to discard your hand size if you ever get too many cards with Jace's first ability. Pretty similar to how we had in Call Time when we had the other, oh gosh, what is it now again? It'll come to me. But the other bit that lets you kind of tuck cards away, foretold, right? When you're able to foretell cards away, right? Pay a little mana cost later to get a bigger effect. This ability actually goes really well with his ultimate, right? His -6 ability is, until end of turn, whenever you cast a spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the spell. This is great that goes in combination with a lot of blue decks, and it's what they do best, casting multiple spells to turn and be able to copy and storm off, right? It is similar to cards that already exist, such as Swarm Intelligence, and it also goes very well with its second +2 ability, right? Having that second card for later to double its trigger, that'd be pretty great. Time for a brand new legendary creature. It is Annie Flash, the Veteran, 6 mana legendary creature human rogue, 3 colorless, 1 green, 1 red, 1 white, Naya, 5/4, Flash. When Annie Flash, the Veteran, enters the battlefield, if you cast it, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. When Annie Flash becomes tapped, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. Now, Annie is a great value engine for recursion and Naya that you don't typically see in these colors. Her cast ability is great for small ETB creatures, even lands to ramp yourself. Exile on the top card of your library is also a great card advantage for each turn, as you don't necessarily need to tap her to go to combat, right? This works great with cards such as Springleaf Drum, right? A 1 mana artifact that lets you tap a creature for mana, right? Convoking is really good in this as well, as a lot of small creatures help you convoke, right? That's pretty great for all that. Finally, we got everybody's famous frog out in the world. It's the Gitrog Ravenous Rider. 5 mana, 6/5 legendary creature frog horror mutant, 3 colorless, 1 green, 1 black that reads trample and haste. Whenever the Gitrog Ravenous Ride deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice a creature that's saddled at this turn. If you do, you draw X cards and then put X lands from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, where X is the sacrifice creature power and has saddle 1. So saddle is another brand new mechanic that we're getting in this set. It's pretty similar to Crew, in which you need to tap a creature with total power equal to the saddle number. This creature then becomes saddle until end of turn, and you can only activate as a sorcery. So if you look at Gitrog's new creature type, Mount is a new creature type that we gotta watch out for. Mounts, for the most part, it looks like all mounts have a saddle ability and get some additional effect from it. Now, the Gitrog is a pretty high landfall deck for anyone who knows them pretty well, and pretty powerful. What you're going to want to do is ramp out big creatures with big power, dump a bunch of lands on the board, and keep recurring through that, right? The new Multani that just came out, the 18 power and 6 toughness, that'd be great in this deck, right? Have the Gitrog out, swing out, sack the Multani, draw 18 lands, dump 18 lands, right? Magical Christmas land, right? Creatures like Rampage and Bailoff will be huge in this deck, as well as Avenger of Zendikar, right? Classic Gitrog cards that you'll see. And as we look at from here, guys, that's all we got for today. So I hope you enjoyed today's spoilers. We'll keep your eye out definitely for some more. We'll keep you informed about what's going on. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you so much. Have a great day.